permiso, buenas tardes.
The analysis and interpretation of the gathered data, and for the output, the identification of the status of implementation of child protection policy basis for the improvement of the delivery of the program. Okay, for the methodology and design, so we use descriptive ethnographic research and the research setting. So yeah, our respondents are the 79 schools in the division. We have 3 respondents per school. So we have the school head, the child protection coordinator, and the teacher representative, a total of 237 respondents. And of course, for the instrument, we use the online questionnaire, and we have also the checklist floated through online since we are derailed with this pandemic situation. So we use the online. Okay, we distributed it online. Okay, for the treatment, we use the data or statistical analysis. For the results and discussion, so here are the general findings. Of course, with the help of our research focal person, okay, to check all of this until the analysis of the gathered data. Okay. For the table 2.1, as you can see, the presence of child protection policy in schools, the table shows that 100% of the respondents answered yes. As to the presence of child protection policy in the school, which means that all schools in the division have child protection policy in place. And for table 2.2, persons involved in the preparation of the school child protection policy. So, as you can see, 50%, 50%, okay, so I'll continue.
Give me a second, Madam, please. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In order you to continue with your presentation, I'm going to mute. You can mute Madam Ruth to speak. Madam Ruth, you need to unmute your microphone.
Okay. Am I audible now, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Professor. And as you can see on table 2.2, as to the respondents' knowledge on who prepared the school child protection policy, 50% got the expected correct response, which is the Child Protection Committee with all of its members. However, with the other 50% response, it may mean that their child protection policy is not collaboratively prepared by all the members of the CPC or not just aware who should prepare the school child protection policy. Okay, wait, Professor.
Yes. Unmute.
Sorry for the technical problem, Professor. Okay, for the table 2.1, table 2.1.1, the dissemination of child protection policy. So as you can see, 98.6% of the respondents answering yes as to the information dissemination of their child protection policy. So this is a good indicator that the child protection policy of every school is communicated to their community stakeholders. Okay, for table 2.1.3, how about the frequency of dissemination of child protection policy? Yes, the frequency of information dissemination shown in the table and reflects that it is a regular activity of each school. Okay, so they conduct this every year. And for table 2.2.1, how about the established child protection committee of every school? So the table reflects that all schools in the division of Kawayan City have an established child protection committee. And for table 2.2.2, the composition of the school child protection committee. So the respondents' knowledge on the composition of the school child protection policy as shown above were in 40% that the correct and complete composition of the school child protection committee, while the other 40% response indicates that they know some of the members but not all. On the other hand, 10% of the respondents only know that the school head and the child protection coordinators compose the child protection committee, and the other 10% thought that all teachers compose the child protection committee. And for the information of everyone, the composition of child protection committee, the chairman is the school head or the principal, the vice chairman is the designated child protection coordinator or the guidance counselor. Then we have a teacher representative, pupil or student representative. We have also the representative from the barangay. For the table 2.2.6, the number of trainings attended, as you can see in the table. For the respondents with more than 3 trainings, the school heads rank first, followed by the child protection coordinator, and the teacher ranks third. And for the number of training that is only one, the child protection, okay, the teachers rank first, the child protection coordinator second, and the school head third. This result can be connected to the respondents' role in the implementation of child protection policy and on the target participants of the child protection trainings. For the table 2.4.1, so what is the first step in handling child protection related case? So the respondents have varying answer as to the first step they should take when handling a child protection related case, and among their most frequent answer are filling out the intake sheet, which rank first, and then talking to the victim second, investigating third, counseling fourth, and separating the victim from the aggressor as fifth. But in contrast, the standard procedure when handling cases is as follows. Of course, the first thing to do is to consider to separate or remove the child from the aggressor, to talk to the child separately, ask the details, then that's the time to fill out the intake sheets, record the incident, and give the appropriate intervention or counseling. On the other hand, it is appropriate to revisit the Department Order Number 40, Series of 2012, for clearer understanding on how to handle child protection related cases since the provisions are there. For table 2.57, the filing system of child protection related reports, documents in the school. So as you can see in the table, most schools with 83.5% only have filed the hard copy. Few have both the electronic copy and hard copy with 10.8% and a database. Very few with 5.7% have established database for easy access and updating aside from their filed hard copy of reports or the documents. For Table 3.1, Child Protection Compliance Tools based on self-assessment, this is part of the tools that we floated online, the Child Protection self-assessment. So based on the school head respondent self-assessment on child protection compliance, it shows that 63.27% are compliant, having 27 to 36 of the compliance indicators present, while 36.73% are non-compliant with only 26 indicators or below present. And for table 6.1, so let's go to the analysis of variance of extent of knowledge versus gender. So using the t-test, as you can see in the table, it can be gleaned from the table that the computed p-value is 0.243773582 is greater than the level of significance at 0.05. Then the null hypothesis is accepted. Therefore, there is no significant difference. It implies that the gender is not a predictor variable as to the extent of knowledge on child protection policy. Regardless of the gender, they have the same degree of knowledge. And this is because both male and female respondents have same exposure and trainings attended. And for the analysis of variance of extent of knowledge versus position using the ANOVA, okay, so the analysis of variance indicates that there is a significant difference on respondents' extent of knowledge on child protection policy when they are grouped together according to position. Similar findings was conveyed by Al-Kaisi Noor of 2018 in his duty, wherein the results revealed that there is a statistical difference among the staff perceptions between coordinators and supervisors, wherein the differences are in favor of supervisors. And as you can see, the p-value is 0.043967, and this is less than the level of significance at 0.05. So we can say that there is a significant difference as to the extent of knowledge of the child on the child protection policy when they are grouped according to position. And for table 6.5, the respondent's extent of knowledge versus years in service, and using the ANOVA also, the analysis of variance of respondents' extent of knowledge in child protection policy when they are grouped according to the years in service shows that it differs significantly. The difference favors those who have more years in service, and it can be deduced from this finding that more years in the field of education also means more trainings and exposures to child protection policies. Hence, more years in service means more knowledgeable respondents. And as you can see on the result, the p-value is 0.04856122, and this is less than the level of significance at 0.05. So there is no significant difference on child protection policy when respondents are grouped according to the years in service. And for table 6.2, the analysis of variance of degree of awareness versus gender, the t-test reveals that the degree of awareness of respondents to the procedures of handling cases when grouped according to gender has no significant difference. This finding further strengthens that gender equality, wherein no gender is more or less aware when it comes to handling child abuse or bullying case. And for table 6.4, the analysis of variance of degree of awareness versus position using the ANOVA skill. Okay, based on the results of the analysis of variance, the respondent's degree of awareness in the procedure of handling cases do not differ significantly when they are grouped according to position. As you can see on the result of the p-value, it is greater than the level of significance at 0.05. And on table 6.6, the degree of awareness and years in service using the ANOVA, you can see the p-value, it is also greater than the level of significance at 0.05. So therefore, there is no significant difference on the respondents' degree of awareness when grouped according to years in service. And for the conclusion and implications of our study, all schools have established child protection committee and almost schools have child protection committee members with established roles. However, 40% of the respondents answered correctly about the composition of child protection committee in schools. And most respondents are not aware of the procedures in handling cases. But then, gender position and years of service do not affect the respondent's awareness in the procedures of handling cases. We have also the respondent's position and years in service are factors that contribute to their extent knowledge in child protection policy. On the average, respondents' knowledge on child protection policy falls under moderate extent and that all of the respondents have been trained. Okay, for the recommendations, so as the research proponents, we have to clearly communicate the composition of Child Protection Committee, mobilize and convene the members of the Child Protection Committee to sustain the child protection information dissemination, ensure the participatory and other rights of children, and there should be a yearly review of child protection policy, the continual training of all Child Protection Committee members, extensive knowledge in child protection policy and in handling cases, submission of child protection reports quarterly or as needed, establish a database of child protection related data, review of child protection compliance indicators, establish partnership to appropriate offices, agencies, organizations, or instrumentalities for appropriate assistance and intervention. And for the utilization of our research findings, the research proponents conducted information dissemination of the results of the study through establishing partnership to schools, SDO counterparts, to our local government unit, to the local council for the protection of children members, agencies, and other external partners. The conduct of capacity building and trainings, information dissemination through flyers, and basis for policy formulation. And for the partnership and linkages, of course, we established partnership with the other SDO counterparts, with the other division here in our region, even outside our region. And then we have also a strong partnership with the LGU, the local government unit of Kawayan, and the local council for the protection of children, the LCPC. We have also a strong partnership, of course, with the schools and NGOs and other external partners. And for this, we have this certificates that we have and awarded to us. Uh, we have this from the local government unit with our city mayor, Honorable Bernard Postino, MD, and to the focal person of our local council for the protection of children from Engineer Juanito Malilin Jr. We have also a partnership from other division, from the division of Cebu province, okay, with the SDS, Ma'am Marilyn Andales, and of course the lawyer of SDO Cebu province, the legal officer, Attorney Orville de la Serna, who is very supportive to our programs and activities also, and trainings conducted in the division. They even adopt our completed research, completed research on child protection. And another one is from the Department of Social Welfare and Development Office, which they cater, of course, and address problems in terms of child abuse and other related cases. We have also a strong partnership with the Philippine National Police, of course, and partnership with the Department of Interior and local government of the city. We partnered also with the schools from the division of Apayao, partnership with Ivana National High School of the division of Batanes. Okay? So they also adopt our study. And aside from that, we have more. Okay, we are planning to disseminate the results of our study to other agencies, and and we are very fortunate also that I was able to present it in the international arena during the iStar conference. And for the second time here, of course, with the invitation and the opportunity given by Professor Andres Alberto Rodriguez Caamaño, so this is the second time that we are presenting the results of our study international. For the dissemination of research findings, so yeah, we disseminated this during the management committee meeting, capacity building for school heads and teachers, and we are planning to have one again this coming September. And of course, the participants will be the child protection coordinators and the school leaders in the division, and we will be inviting resource speakers also. And then information dissemination through flyers and booklets, assembly meetings, forums, conferences, during in-service training, during training in schools, and other external partners, LGU and NGOs. And the capacity to address multiple problems, of course, this study can address, of course, the Child Protection Committee composition by information dissemination, intensive child protection information dissemination to schools. Children's rights are respected, so everybody should aware of the children's rights. The child protection policy review, maybe it's not only done in a year, but it can be done quarterly. The continual child protection policy trainings given to teachers, not only for the school leaders and child protection coordinators. We have extensive knowledge on the child protection policy because everybody should be aware. As the famous adage says that ignorance of the law excuses no one. So everyone should be aware of the provisions of the DepEd Child Protection Policy and other DepEd issuances here in the Philippines. We have also child protection reports. Actually, our practice here in the division of Kawayan City, being the designated division child protection focal person, they submit to me their reports quarterly or as needed if ever there are cases to be addressed. And of course, with the help of the grievance committee in our division, if ever it is a major problem, then we have also a partner from other divisions who have lawyers or legal officers. And then child protection checklist compliance of all the schools, and then establishing partnership. And for our references, we have this. And as I end my presentation, as child protection advocates in our day-to-day activities, we should always give a primary consideration on the best interests of our children and students. According to John F. Kennedy, children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. So thank you and stay safe. God bless everyone. And thank you for listening. And for the information of everyone, I think my partner is here. Ma'am Ana Grace M. Gallardo, Professor Andres. I think she's here. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you so much, dear Madam Ruth, for your presentation. for this suitable information that you have already shared with our community. This is a study, yes. This is a study that you already made it.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
yeah. So I got a question for you, Madam Ruth. This child safety, or I don't know, the conception of the idea that child protection, no, that
Yes.
is in Philippines, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any other do you have any other data from other countries that what do you suggest for your results? They are totally conclusive, or they are suggestible that we can already use it in in different contexts.
Yeah, you may adapt it also, sir. Considering if this is applicable also in your country. Uh, this was created and released by the DepEd Central Office. All the department issuances, the policies that we are using in schools. Okay? If it is applicable, well, we can share it too.
Okay, I'm reading the comments that the people are. Juana Torres says, thank you for the interesting information. Miss Sonia Lopez. Hello, Miss Sonia. Thank you so much. Just for sharing. And well, I already shared with the people in the chat box the JOT form in order to fill in your registration. And we are going to send you the issue certificate, no? So, well, now you have any comments, teachers? Or you have any questions for Man Ruth? It's the time. You can do it. Okay, so I think, Madam Fruit, this information is very important. Also, the rules, yes, were no. I think that these ideas can be used and applicable in different contexts. No? So I think that's very the information that you already shared with us. It's very important. No? So that's my comment. That's my point. I don't know if someone else has a different vision about it. You have any comment, teachers? Okay, I'm reading a question here from Professor Mauricio. Madam Ruth, can you answer this question? He says that who controls the policies at schools?
Yes, Professor?
Okay, I was reading a question from you from the question is about who controls the policies at school. Mauricio, Professor Mauricio was asking in the chat. Can you
Okay.
respond it, please?
Yes, yes, sir. So, based on the DepEd Order number 40, series of 2012, the roles and responsibilities are all there, are indicated. What will be the role of the central office down to the schools, and it is very clear that we have the Child Protection Committee chaired by the school head or the principal. Okay, being the chairman of the Child Protection Committee, if ever there are cases to address to in the respective schools, so she's the one. Okay, so yearly they conduct school-based trainings to inform all the teachers, the learners, the community stakeholders about this policy, so that uh, they know what to do, and of course they know what to get rid of in order to um, not to have a case, of course, and of course to take care of the children as well, especially on the part of the teachers. So the Child Protection Committee in the school, chaired by the school head or the principal. So the composition, we have also the vice chair, represented by the guidance counselor or the designated child protection coordinator, we have a representative from the teaching or faculty, and then from the representative from the parents, representative from the learners group, and representative from the barangay. And they have the task included in the policy. Yeah, this
Thank you so much.
policy.
You have clarified the point.
Yes, sir. Because this policy was released last 2012, and of course, every school is following this one, and this should be implemented in all schools in the Philippines.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Professor. Well, is there any special department? I think that you have already responded in your answer. Um, Somebody else? Okay, let me read one question. We have one more here from Eduardo. Eduardo, is there any people who cares and be responsible in order to uh, I don't understand that part. This problem of child abuse. I mean, it probably means that it could solve the problem, no?
Hello, sir. Yeah. Yes. There is a protocol. There's a protocol that is followed, especially in school. If ever there is a case on child protection, and they cannot address it all the way because they have to follow certain protocols, especially if that is an abuse case, and it will be reported in the division office, and of course there is a protocol also there to follow since we have the grievance committee, especially if ever the committed case is the perpetrator is a teaching personnel or a non-teaching personnel, okay, or an adult to the child. And if ever the case will not be solved, that will be forwarded in the regional office, okay, and it can be handled by the lawyers assigned. Okay, so we are following protocols, sir. We are not just right away to solve the problem, especially if it is a child abuse related case. Unlike for bullying, because it is done from peer to peer, so we can settle it. Okay? Especially if it is uh, what do you call this? It's just a bullying. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, dear professor, for answering those questions. Okay, from partners. Okay, we have some comments. Other comments here. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Well, I congratulate you, Professor. I send uh, my congratulations to you because you already presented this study and you have received an award or certification in the university, no? The university that you have been awarded. We accept here and recognize your effort and valuable job to contribute it in the community. Uh, we're not focusing only on teaching. No, we're focusing on different aspects. In this case, protection, child safety. So regulations like these are very important in order to control and have a good process in the education of our children, no, and adolescents, no. Not only in the Philippines, and everywhere around the world, you know.
Hello, sir.
Okay, so Sonny is asking about if there is a specific program to solve this kind of problem, to support children
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, we do. We
to
have it
support
in
a
the
specific program?
yeah. We have the child protection program in the division, and of course, we have partnering agencies. Okay, if ever it is a child-related abuse issue. Okay, so we have agencies supporting if ever there are problems like this.
Okay, thank you so much, dear professor, for answering this question. Okay, dear teachers, thank you so much for your contribution to be here. I am so glad to have this presentation with Madam Ruth. She already presented in Philippines, and now she has shared with us, no, her experience in this area, no. So I think that Madam Ruth, I'm so excited and we're so happy that you have already presented here. I admire your contribution, and I don't think it's the first time that you can share with us. I I will probably maybe invite you in the future if you accept my request.
Sure, sir. As long as the schedule is favorable. And thank you for adjusting. Supposed to be right, it should be 10 a.m., but we adjusted it to 7 p.m. So it's
Yeah,
evening now in Ecuador, and it's morning here in the Philippines. So I'm very, very thankful, Professor, for the invitation. And this is a great opportunity, not only to share the research study that we have, but of course the impact of this to the teachers, to the school leaders in the different countries there in Latin America. So I'm so very thankful. And of course, those who joined us also from the Philippines, my colleagues, my fellow teachers, of course. And we have our documenter, Sir Marvin Villakidan. Special thanks to him. And I would like to say this, Professor. We can do simple ways in helping and securing the safety of our learners, especially now that they are engaged to home-based learning. So it's very, very hard for us to monitor if what is happening to them at home. Okay, and so let us coordinate with their parents, their guardians to facilitate the learning and give our support and guidance to them. And let us continue to serve and promote the advocacy of child protection in order to save the children from any forms of abuse. And of course, muchas gracias to all of you. Maraming
muchas
salamat.
gracias.
Thank you very much. And to God be all the glory.
I appreciate it. You sound so pleased when you say in Spanish. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Well, that's what I know only. I hope I can learn more later.
Definitely. You know that I'm going to have a presentation in Eastern in some hours. So
Yes, I will
yeah,
watch.
so yeah, exactly. So I know we have that time problem that we already have. We're in the morning, so we're running in the afternoon or in the evening. But that's okay. The most rewarding is that we share our experience, and we teachers have this. Yes, Miss Sonia Lopez is saying that you speak Spanish. You sound very well.
Oh, thank you so much, Ma'am Sonia. I hope to learn more.
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure. Sonia, are you there, Miss Sonia?
Yes, I'm here. I'm so happy that a person from the other part of the world can share with us important information about her investigation. Also, we have problem with our children, and I glad to see that they have a program in order to follow this kind of issues. And it was so nice that the few words in our language. Imagine, Mr. Rodriguez, this is amazing. Not only English is one connector, it could be our language. Thank you so much. I would like to have you in another opportunity. Of course, we need Mr. Rodriguez if you can help us. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Well,
Which is
thank you so much,
Brussels.
dear Sonia. Sonia, where are you from?
I'm from Ecuador. I'm from Ambato.
Okay. Thank you so much, San Luis Tambato, Miss Sonia. Well, thank you
Thanks.
so much, dear teachers, for your presence. You are an important part here in this webinar. So remember that we normally work webinars on Sunday mornings, but in this time we did it Saturday afternoons. I will let you know because next Sunday we're gonna have another webinar. It will be so great, and Miss Ruth, if you can be here and be present in the next webinar as participant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, Professor. I will.
Thank you so much for your presence, Miss Ruth. I appreciate it. Dear professors, thank you so much in this evening session. We are going to continue for the next Sunday webinars. Have a good night, everybody. Have a great Saturday.
Thank you, Professor. Can we have a photo op?
Yes,
Professor Kelvin.
absolutely.
Yeah, Sir
Everybody,
Marvin.
please. Everybody, please, can you show your video? All right, in order to have, if you will be ready, if you share on your cameras, please, no? Because I can look who you are, no? Thank you.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
let's
my
see.
wet Elman is not walking by. I say, oh my lord.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry.
Sir
Okay,
Marvin.
let
Sir
me capture,
Marvin.
please.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, dear professors. Thank you so much, dear really. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Bye-bye, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very cool.